Okay, good morning and happy Friday. So we have some exciting news. So I just shared this on Canvas. This is an extra credit opportunity and also really great opportunity if you're a major, a minor, or you see yourself taking another communication studies class in the future. So as I mentioned a little bit in passing, Communication Studies is hiring a new full-time faculty member who will be teaching a number of courses in Communication Studies, both face-to-face and online. And we have 3 awesome finalists who are coming to campus next week to do a teaching demonstration, to share their research and work. And I want to make sure that we have the opportunity to get to know them, for you all to share your feedback, especially if you see yourself working with them in the future. With that in mind, basically, 2 of the 3 candidates are going to be presenting in my communication theory class right after this one. So it'll be at 11 a.m. just here in this room. So I want to invite you, if you're available, you can stick around next Monday and Wednesday to 11 just to see these candidates. We have a 3rd person who will be presenting at 11 a.m. on Thursday as well. If you can't make those times, then a recording of their teaching demonstrations will be available for you to see. Basically, if you have the chance to see these teaching demonstrations, either face-to-face or through the recording, you'll complete a short review of those applicants. If you do that, then you'll receive extra credit in the course. So I wanted to share that opportunity. And whether or not you want the extra credit, it's a great opportunity for your own perspective and input to be received as you're seeing these folks and figuring out who you'd like to work with in the future. So I wanted to let you all know that exciting opportunities coming up and that we'll have some guests on campus this next week that you'll have the chance to offer your input on. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started on today's interviews. So this time around, we've got 2 performance interviews, 1 persuasive interview. So we'll start with the partnership of Britt and Lindsay whenever you're ready. Again, 6 to 8 minutes. I'll let you know. You have 4, 3, 2, 1 when you're ready.
Good morning. Thank you for joining me today. I brought you here to evaluate your experience and performance throughout your time here so far. There are no major concerns within our department. We're just kind of getting some insight on the performance. So my first question for you is, can you describe a challenging social case you have had to work on and how you handled it?
A challenging case I had to work on was maybe one that involved a certain family with children, because I felt like conflicted in like doing my job and still trying to like satisfy and meet like the parents' needs and requests, especially when it came to having a large number of children.
And how could you describe like that experience on like your personal well-being?
I guess I did have to like take a break after, like for some self-care, so I can like thoroughly process like that case and the effect it's going to have on the family. But I did try to set like a professional boundary like off the clock.
And what goals have you set for yourself so far this year, and how do you plan on tracking your progress?
Some goals that I set were to prioritize different tasks when it came to like paperwork, getting the longer stuff out of the way, not procrastinating as much. But I'm working towards those goals by setting like reminders, timers, agendas, so I stay on track like with my work schedule.
And have you ever had to adjust your goals in order to help your team or yourself succeed?
Maybe not my goals, but my priorities. Sometimes I do feel like what might be important to me might not be as important to someone else. So, yeah, putting other people's needs, especially in this type of job and field, is extremely important.
And how would you say working within your group or your department has been so far?
I'd say it's good. I think there's a lot of I guess friendly faces, and I think we're really inviting and opening even to each other, and we support each other mentally, physically, and every other aspect.
And what would you consider your greatest strength?
I would say my greatest strengths probably would have to be like having sympathy towards clients, meeting people halfway and understanding like where they are in their position comes with no judgment.
And how would you say this has contributed to success within the position?
I do have a lot of clients opening up more to me and reaching out for help, and even just being more open to accepting more resources that I have to offer at our department.
What would you say is a specific skill that you might think you could improve on?
I would say a skill that I want to improve on would probably be setting professional boundaries and understanding when I clock out for the day that my job stays in the office.
And how do you plan on doing this going forward?
I plan on doing this by not taking any more like emails, phone calls, or text messages that pertain to the job outside of work hours.
Do you feel as though you are taking on more responsibilities beyond like just your assigned duties?
Yes, but I believe that comes like with the position and the job, because like my job is essentially to care and provide with resources. And I do feel like a lot of the time to succeed, I do have to go above and beyond for the clients.
What strategies have proven useful to you while helping clients resolve conflicts?
Strategies would probably be having some type of mental health facilitator in the room with resolving conflicts with between clients or anything in that.
How would you say that you develop trust when you're meeting with a new client?
I would develop trust just by keeping it casual, having them first talk about like themselves personally and have them open up, and even having like a comfortable office for them to be in.
Do you have any goals that you have for learning every year?
Maybe goals would be helping my coworkers reach their goals as well by like supporting each other and prioritizing different tasks so we can help more people in the same amount of time.
Is there anything that our department can do to help support you in achieving these goals?
Maybe if the department can help with like better finding like funding for certain resources, and help with like guiding new like trainees with learning the ropes of the job and finding different resources in the community.
Do you plan on returning to this position next year?
I do plan on returning to this position. I really enjoy the atmosphere of my office and the people within it.
And as we close out this interview, do you have any questions or concerns that you'd like to face?
I don't have any questions.
Okay. Correct. If you do have any at any time, I'm always available to talk through email or phone, or you can always come to my office to talk. Just want to thank you again for taking time to join me, and yeah, thank you.
Hello, good morning. How are you? Good, how are you? I'm good. Today we want to like evaluate your experience and performance throughout your year here. And as of right now, there are like no major concerns within our department or regarding your performance or ability. This is just like a general overview. So I wanted to start with the first question, like what are some highlights from this year?
Some highlights, I would definitely say we made it to nationals, which was amazing, and we did pretty well in nationals, so that was definitely a highlight. We had a really great regular season. We only dropped 1 or 2 conference games, so that was really nice, and we hosted and won the conference tournament, so that was definitely a highlight this year.
Yeah, tell me about a challenging game you had in your championship.
I would say one of the most challenging games we had this year was when we were playing at Northwestern, and the game turned out very rough, and it seemed like it wasn't going to go in our favor. And for some reason, our offense and defense were just not working as one. We would have like a great dig, but then like our hitters gonna put the ball away, or like vice versa. So it's just a really challenging game to get through, and kind of my thought process throughout the whole game, which is like, how do I get the offense and defense to play as one? And when I would call timeouts during the game, I kind of tried talking to the girls like very calmly, but also very sternly to let them know like we have a job that needs to get done, and it's like up to them to turn the game around. And that I fully believe in them to do so as well. And we ended up pulling out the win in 5 sets, so that was good to Denver.
Can you describe a time where you had to deal with a difficult team member, and how did you handle that?
Yeah, so I try to set a very like no drama policy at the beginning of the year, so I let the girls know at the beginning like we're not going to have any unnecessary drama because it will only bring the team down, and I just don't have a tolerance for that. So we had one situation where team members had some drama off the court, but it was kind of starting to affect practices and games, and they were bringing it onto the court. So when I noticed this, I just pulled them aside before practice one day, and I sat them down just to talk about what was going on. And in that meeting, I just kind of let both girls tell their sides, and we kind of like talked about a solution and like where we could go moving forward. And we were able to sit down and hash out the drama and get on the same page moving forward.
What was it you said yourself in this past year? Like, how did you like track your progress? And
One goal was definitely to make it to nationals. And then some of the small goals we had were to get 1% better every day, maintain a 3.5 team GPA, and outwork every team we play. So I kind of track this by doing individual meetings with the players throughout the year to kind of talk about where they are and like what skills they still need to develop, and we can kind of just like get on the same page moving forward about that like 1% better every day. And then I also created a grade sheet so that the players could turn in that multiple times throughout the term to make sure they were keeping up on their schoolwork and they had to like input their grades and stuff. So I kind of made sure we were like staying on task with that. And then we ended up making it to national, so kind of just that was hard to track. We just had to outplay every team and get there. And we also did hit a 3.5 team GPA every term.
perfect. Can you describe the time there for just your for the teachers?
Yeah, I feel like I kind of have to do that before every season, just because every group of girls is going to be different, which means that the team is going to be different. So one time I tried going into the next season, like expecting us to be kind of the same team that we were last year, but I kind of had to take a step back and just start like a new atmosphere and realize that's going to be different because there's different girls. So then I just kind of apologize to the players for expecting them to fit into like specific roles, and just encourage them to kind of find their own role and succeed in that, and that I was here for them no matter what, and I could help them throughout that. And I just wanted them to be good teammates.
What do you consider to be your greatest strength as a coach, and how is it contributing to your success?
I feel like my greatest strength would be that I'm very passionate about what I do. I believe in my players, and not only in the easy times, but also in the extremely difficult times. And I feel like I put my heart into every season and give everything I can to my players. I think that this has contributed to my success in the role because it shows my players that I take this very serious, and they know that going into it. And if they see me giving like all that I have, that's going to make them want to do that in return.
Can you tell me about a specific skill or area in which you want to improve on?
Yeah, of course. So I think one area I could improve on is just putting on more fundraisers, because I believe it's really important for our team to raise money for our program and see that like hard work can pay off. I've been trying to think of just more ideas for this, and just putting on more camps to kind of help bring in some money.
How have you demonstrated initiative and taken initiative responsibility beyond your family?
I feel like one big thing that I focus on, like beyond just my assigned duties, is taking care of my players mentally, because my job as a coach is to just coach these girls and hopefully produce like a successful team. But I think it's really important to think about the mental side of it as well. So I always check in with my players, and I believe that mental health is just as important as your physical health. So I kind of make that a big focus going into every season. And I just make sure my players know that they have a safe place where they can open up to me and talk about things with me, and we can kind of get through them.
Yeah, I know I recommend maybe a few times to going above and beyond your duties and being there for the teams. What goals do you have for your team this upcoming year?
I would say obviously one is to make it to nationals again and hopefully make it to the championship game. Another goal is to still have the 3.5 team GPA every term and continue to get 1% better individually and as a team. And I feel like I'm going to achieve these goals by just continuing to have my players keep track of their assignments and grades on our worksheets, and then just pushing my team to be the best they can be and helping my players individually to help them improve. That way it helps the team improve.
What can we do as a department to support you?
I feel like you guys could help me in just like when I'm coming to you about fundraising things, like give me your inputs and kind of laying down like kind of what the budget is for some stuff, just so I know and I can see that like all the way down and have a good plan going forward.
Yeah, so we're about concluding. So is there any questions?
Just one. Is there anything you see from like an outside point of view that you think I can improve on?
As of right now, I don't, and I'm really like impressed with the way you've been managing and handling the team. And it's even reflected with the outcomes of games, grades. I would like to have a follow-up meeting about your, I guess, concerns with the budgeting and planning everything money-wise. But other than that, I don't have any. Yeah. So thank you for your time. I'm always available to follow, email my office, where my office is at, and you're open during operating hours. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you both for getting us started. Next up, we have Drew, who will also be doing performances.
Hello, as you know, I'm the general manager for the Tennessee Titans organization, and I'm conducting this interview to review your performance for the receivers coach position. Thank you for coming to meet for this interview. We appreciate your time. This interview will give us us as an organization an idea of where we see moving forward within this program. We will be recording this interview. Is that okay with you? All right, let's get started. Tell me about a time as a first-year position coach. What is something that you felt that you could improve on to help the organization as a whole?
You know, as a first-year professional coach, I believe that some things that I could have worked on was my ability to resolve conflict among my position group and my ability to help players who may have had a lower football IQ to learn our complex playbook.
How do you handle yourself in a fast-paced environment when dealing with your superiors?
So I believe that I'm a high energy coach and I thrive when situations get stressful. So in a situation like this, I feel as if I've found success with constantly taking notes and being a student of the game by asking questions.
Can you give me an example of the time that you suggested an idea to the coaching staff to better the program?
Yeah, so this last season, our wide receiver 1 was injured in the preseason and was projected to be out for 3 games. I then suggested to the coaching staff, who I thought should be our new wide receiver 1 for the temporary 3 weeks, and the coaching staff took action among my suggestion, and this specific receiver led the conference in catches for the first 3 weeks.
How did you handle the heavy workload of being a receivers coach in the NFL?
You know, being an NFL position coach came with an immense time commitment. I handled this by using my organizational skills to manage our time as a group productively. And I was also able to motivate myself and my players through my passion of the game and my love for the game of football.
Did you have any difficulties with your athletes or coaching staff that you could not resolve?
Yeah, there was one issue that I was unable to resolve. It was a little bit uncontrollable regarding one of my receivers. He was arrested due to drunk driving, in the middle of the season, and although he was a massive asset for the team, I was unable to convince the coaching staff to keep him on the team, and I was given the task to inform him that he was no longer going to move on with our organization.
Can you give me an example of a career goal you set for yourself and how you're working to accomplish it?
Yeah, a goal that I've set for myself as a professional coach is to become an offensive coordinator. I believe that I have the skills and the knowledge to be successful as a coordinator. And I know that through learning and being mentored by these veteran coaches, that I will continue to make strides towards this goal.
On a scale of 1 being no improvement to 10 being high levels of improvement, how would you rate your performance as a receivers coach?
So as a receiver coach in my first year, I would rate my performance as a 7. Something that I could do to improve the score in this upcoming season is to increase my communications with the defensive coaches so that both positions are getting better looks during game preparation. And yeah.
Nice. Describe a situation in which you use your leadership skills to resolve a problem in your workplace.
So situation in which I used my leadership skills to solve a problem this season was one of my early round draft picks came in and expressed to me that he was unhappy with the situation because it was playing time. So as a leader, I sat down with him, had a one-on-one meeting, provided him with feedback based on his preseason performance and his practice performance. This would give him a better understanding as to where I see him going forward. And I also gave him a chance to speak his thoughts so that I could gain ideas of how I could improve as a coach.
What is a goal you have for yourself moving forward in our organization?
In this organization, as a wide receivers coach, a goal that I have for myself moving forward is to increase my role on the staff. I would like to be an offensive coordinator and do the things that I need to do to reach that goal. And as well as I would like to coach a top receiving corps in the league.
With that being said, that is all the questions I have for you. As we wrap up this interview, do you have any questions?
Yeah, what is something that I can do to work towards my goal of becoming an offensive coordinator?
Yeah, what you can do for us is to continue to use your veteran coaches as mentors and increase your football smarts. Where becoming an offensive coordinator comes with experience and years of learning the game from the best. So pretty much just stay close on the coach leads with them and pretty much learn as much as you can.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, thank you for taking the time to do this interview for our organization. You will be provided with feedback based on the past season and how you performed. Again, this interview was recorded, and thank you again. I'll be seeing you around.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Blake Davis, and I'm the superintendent here in the Yakima School District. I'm conducting this interview to review your performance as the AC Davis Athletic Director. This interview will provide the school district and I with a better understanding of how you as the athletic director manage athletics here in Yakima. I would like to inform you that this interview is being recorded for evaluation purposes. Is that okay with you? Yep. Awesome. Keep on. So as the athletic director here at AC Davis High School, what is one challenge that you have had to overcome?
Yeah, a major challenge that I had to overcome was dealing with the schedule conflicts and working with other schools in the league so that my athletes were able to have all of their games within the right scheduled dates and without missing as little school as possible.
Awesome. So can you describe a time where your communication skills helped you to solve a problem as the director of athletics?
Yeah, when working as an athletic director, I have had to work with other schools, athletic directors to help design sports programs so that our student athletes were able to have a successful and fun season that can include safe travel and communication from me to the families of my athletes as well.
Awesome. So give an example of a time when you demonstrated leadership as an athletic director.
Yeah, as an athletic director, I believe that leadership is a crucial skill that you must attain. And an example of me using leadership skills in the past year was developing a leadership council that consisted of 2 student athletes from each program. And having to meet up with them 2 days in the week. And what we did was discuss our vision of success and goal to create a winning, positive team environment.
Awesome. Tell me about your experience hiring staff members such as coaches.
Yeah, when hiring coaches, I learned that character is very important when hiring coaches. So I really try to get to know them and who they are. I also like to see where their knowledge is on the sport that they're applying for.
Awesome. After gaining experience as an athletic director, in your opinion, what makes a good athletic director?
Yeah, I feel what makes a good athletic director, honestly, is being able to be adapted to the situation and the changes of the environment. As there can be unexpected turns down the road for sports such as like an athlete getting hurt or a game getting canceled or just something, transportation is like another big one. Getting switched up, which being able to fix these problems can make a good athletic director.
What vision do you have for athletic activities at our school?
Yeah, my vision for our school is to help our students, athletes have a safe and fun environment to be able to be successful within the program, which could be to better the equipment and coaching staff that we are with. Also try and make sure that we have better safety protocols within our program in which each sport. So yeah.
When presented with a challenge such as having to fire a head coach, how do you go about your business in a professional manner?
First, I will consult with the school board to make sure that the decision is correct and it's the best decision that we have. And then I will try and make sure that we have a backup head coach or just coaching position available. I also schedule a meeting with the head coach to discuss termination with like being as respectful as I can. And
Awesome. Describe a time when you had to rely on your work ethic to solve a problem.
yeah, a time where I had to use my work ethic to the best of my ability was when I had to figure out transportation for one of my teams in a late notice because one of the bus companies that we usually go through had switched the days that we had paid for. So we were currently out of transportation. So what I had to do was call another bus company on short notice, and for them to do it, it costed a little bit more, but we ended up making it happen, and the athletes ended up getting to their game on time.
Awesome. Can you explain to me your greatest achievement as an athletic director so far?
Yeah, my greatest achievement being an athletic director so far has been seeing the program of our school succeeding and thriving before I got here. They weren't in the best position and due to many circumstances, but as a team, our school got all of our programs back to where we want them and with the students happy.
Awesome. That will conclude this performance interview. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, moving forward, do you believe there are any more improvements I can make to better our athletic program?
Yeah, I think that communication with parents is a really big thing. This last year, as part of the school board, we received a lot of athletic complaints from parents. So if you could increase your communication to those parents, I think that would put us in a better position to be successful. Thank you, Mr. Reyes. You will be provided with feedback based on your performance here within the week. We as a school have discussed the importance of academic excellence among student athletes here in Yakima School District and would like this to be the top priority in the upcoming school year. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to meet with me.
Thank you.
All right, thank you both. And to wrap up our interviews for the day, we have Austin and Addison who will be doing persuasive interviews.
Morning, Aston. My name's Austin. I'd like to inform you about our weightlifting club. I will be recording. Is that all right with you?
Perfectly fine, yes.
Okay, for starters, On a scale from 1 to 10, how interested are you in joining a weightlifting club right now?
I'd say a solid 7.
Before we begin the questions, I want to tell you a little bit about our club. We meet on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to talk about how things are going in the gym. So we talk about goals and the most efficient ways to accomplish them. We also talk about weightlifting strategies and how to stay motivated in everything we do. Would you say you're an active person?
Yes, currently I'm less active than I used to be. I used to do a lot of sports in high school. I did track and field, throwing, running, soccer. I was the captain of my soccer team, cross country. And now I am more oriented towards hiking, walking, rock climbing.
Cool. How many days would you say you like to exercise per week?
I say my goal every week is 5. But I don't always reach that because academics are a bit of a priority for me right now.
Would you usually work out 1 time per day?
Yes, yeah, preferably.
Okay. Have you ever lifted weights?
Yes, I wouldn't say I'm the most experienced person, but being involved in a lot of sports teams, weight training was part of that. Although it was high school, so it's not super involved.
Cool. Are you part of any clubs right now?
Yes, 3 currently. I am part of the ski and snowboard club. I'm co-president for the anthropology sociology club, and I'm part of the rock club.
Okay. What initially attracted you to participate in rock climbing?
I would say I kind of just took a chance on it, to be honest. I had no clue what was going on, and I half blackmailed a friend of mine to come to a meeting with me, and she didn't end up sticking with it, but I loved it, so I stuck around. And I thought it was interesting. So.
Cool. How were you introduced to the club?
A poster, yeah. I just saw something spark my interest. I was here for my first year and wanted something to do, so I thought I'd give it a try.
How often does the rock climbing club?
Currently, we meet 2 times a month, but it depends on the needs of the club, so that is subject to change.
How would you say rock climbing makes you feel?
I would say it makes me feel like, I don't know, it relaxes me, like something I can work hard at. I feel confident. I like, the equipment that comes with it. I like a set, it gets me to the right mindset so I can work hard and then I can turn it off and my brain works much better when I'm trying to do school. And I really just like the environment.
Okay, cool. I think weightlifting can create a lot of similar feelings. It can lower stress, helps you relax, and then improve your self-esteem. What are some characteristics of a club or group that you look for when you consider trying?
I would say there's probably like 3 things. It's a good atmosphere for beginners. First coming into a club, even if I do have some experience with something, I really like to act as if I'm going from square one while I get a feel for things. I would like a group of people that I can connect with in and outside of club meetings. And then good communication. So emails, texts, set schedules. If things are subject to change, I really like to keep those lines of communication open.
Okay. Our club provides some similar aspects. We're super flexible and nothing is required. However, we do expect you to be interested in weightlifting. We have a supportive and judge-free environment. We motivate each other to stay active, create relationships, and be better people overall.
That's nice.
Do you agree with the idea that being around friends helps people become more happy?
Yes, I definitely agree. I think there's science behind, being around people that you enjoy, making you feel physically happier and more motivated. And it's just, you have an inherent need to have connection with people and have friends. And so I think that's really important.
Yeah. I think we find that our members often enjoy getting to meet new people, and a positive environment helps them feel appreciated and pleasant. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, would you say that this club is beginner friendly?
I would, there's people of all skill levels, so we really help each other grow and learn and develop new skills. Very beginner friendly, I would say.
That's good to hear. What kind of costs are associated with being part of this club?
Costs. None, actually. So it's in the EOU gym, so you can just sign up, show up, and then learn how to lift weights.
Thanks. Well, thank you for telling me that.
No problem. Okay. So now, how interested would you say you are in joining the weightlifting club on a scale from 1 to 10?
I would say 9.
Awesome. What made you increase your answer from the last?
I think it aligns really well with things that I'm already interested in, and it would help me reach the goal of becoming more active. And it seems like a really winner.
Awesome. All right, well, that's all the questions I got for you today. Thank you for your time and your consideration of joining the club.
Of course. Austin, I would love to gauge your interest in rock climbing club or at the Perfect. I'm curious, how physically active are you currently?
I'd say I'm very active. I've played soccer my whole life, and I'm currently playing soccer here at UU. So we run a lot and do a lot of physical activity. And I also go to the gym a decent amount.
So rock climbing is a fun activity to do in your spare time. I know that sometimes joining clubs that are really physically active is daunting for someone that's already active or part of sports teams, but it utilizes different muscles, the typical exercises of sports. So it's a good form of cross training, and it doesn't interfere with most people's workouts. Are you currently involved in contest?
I'm not.
Do you have experience rock climbing?
I have a little bit. I've been rock climbing indoors a couple of times, but I don't have a ton of experience.
Have you heard of the UW Rock Climbing Club before?
No, actually, I knew that we had a rock wall, but I did not know that there was a club associated with it.
Cool. May I tell you about it?
Yeah.
Cool. The Rock Climbing Club meets every other week currently. We meet during hours when the rock wall is closed to have exclusive access. And it is an opportunity to listen to music, climb, boulder, belay, learn, and hang out with a group of like-minded people. We also have trips to climb off campus in and outdoors. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being like not at all, and 10 being like hell yes, how would you rate your interest in getting currently?
I would say probably a 6.
Okay, and what made you choose this?
I have enjoyed rock climbing when I did it in the past, so I'm not opposed to joining. But I do have a somewhat busy schedule with soccer and academics when school starts. So I'm not sure how those would fit into.
Is there anything that the rock climbing club could do to increase that rating to accommodate with your schedule or other things to do that?
I'd say just be like open and communicative, so like just letting me know if things are flexible and stuff like that.
The rock climbing club is primarily an on-campus club located in the field house. However, we also try and set up expertise campus, such as outdoor climbing trips or indoor climbing competitions. If you were part of, would you prefer to stay on campus or attend competitions?
I'm not opposed to attending off-campus events, but I would prefer to stay on campus if I joined.
And traveling for competitions and off-campus outdoor climbing is completely voluntary. Outside of these associated costs, being a member of the club is completely free. But what is your willingness to spend money to participate in travel activities?
I think I could contribute a little bit, as long as it's not like an excessive amount.
Is there anything about rock climbing that you want to know more about or that interests you?
I guess, is the rock wall area in the field house completely finished, or are there any changes being made?
So the rock wall is always changing. Currently it is finished, yes. So we're in a new facility, that's twice as big and very nice, brand new. But we are constantly changing the different routes that we set. So our difficulty level varies, and for people who are coming in regularly, they have something new to climb. We have auto blaze, or we have manual blaze where people delay you. And so people have options to change up the different types of climbing they're doing anytime that they come in. So we try and provide a lot of variety.
Sounds cool.
Do you have any questions?
Yeah, what is the community like in the club? Is it competitive, just for fun, or are people super supportive?
I feel like currently, the tone of the club is just very fun. We haven't had a lot of involvement with off-campus competitions, and that was just the group that we had this year, so we adjusted to accommodate for that, and so that was still a difficult option. But we talked about it and love and chose to just stay primarily on campus and through that group. So I would say it's a lot of fun. We kind of just jam out. We get to listen to music. We get beginners belay certified, and so we can all, help each other climb. And there's a lot of, would you like me to belay you? Like, do you want to climb this route? We have a game called Add-on, where it's a bouldering competition, kind of like where you build off of each other. And so I think that it's just a really fun atmosphere.
Cool. That's it.
So, thank you for taking the time to talk with me. Our next club meeting is next Thursday at 7 p.m. So hopefully I'll see you there.
Awesome.
Thank you both for wrapping us up. Just a few quick notes that we can get after early today. So overall, I enjoyed this set of interviews. It's nice to see the contrast in terms of the structure, guidelines, and elements of the persuasive versus performance interview. Again, we will likely find ourselves in both ends of these kinds of interviews, particularly, people are trying to sell or recruit us to do things. We find ourselves being asked to, sell somebody on something. So in terms of the persuasive interview, I thought both of you did a really good job of providing content that was able to really clarify and support what concerns somebody had. For example, Addison talking about benefits of the club, the ways that it has to show a positive environment, accommodating schedules, the way Austin's talking about how the use of a follow-up question, the interest in the weight club was increasing, and that was able to effectively show how persuasive interviews can work. One thing to think about is just for the end of the interview, sort of presenting something more actionable, right? At the end of the day, you might say, hey, here's some sign-up materials, or, here's where you need to sign up, or just like having that final push toward anything that you want the person to do at the end. So a little bit more information on that, and just makes it like where you have that momentum and you can put that momentum towards something. But I really enjoyed the content you all provided in the interviews. I also think I appreciate how in both of the sets of performance interviews, you all are taking some of the things we've worked on through the interview process in other styles of interviews, applying here, for example, talking about more specific steps you've taken to improve, to show how your work experience is being used effectively. And in many ways, and I mentioned this in particular, looking at Luli and Britt, the kind of taking the offensive, right? Coming in with a set of things that you do well, that you really want to promote, advertise, and talk about, because you really do want to highlight to a supervisor what it is that you're doing effectively and showing us how your experiences are playing positively. I also appreciated with Drew and Blake how you were able to present questions, talk about efforts to work toward goals. Again, performance interviews really goal oriented, and showing as an employee that you're interested in investing in goals is really great, and I appreciated that. One trick to think about with performance interviews, right, is that there's a little bit of a fine line between that and the job interview, right? This position, you already have the job, and it's more about highlighting what you've done, what roles that you have, and perhaps I think for interviews, a little bit more to reframe and establish what the rules are, or not to break front, this has been an issue that I want to talk about, this is a concern to work on, right? So rather than focusing as much on sort of talking to a person as if they're taking the job, reflecting on the experience and work that they have done. It's just an area to focus on a little bit more. But there's this really strong round of interviews overall. I really appreciated the work that people have done on this. So again, as a reminder, 11 o'clock next Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we will have 3 people who will be giving guest presentations on campus in this room right after class. Recordings will also be available, and if you review and then send some feedback to me, then you'll receive extra credit. So please pass or email your attendance for today if you have attendance already. Have an awesome weekend, and we will head into next week with our last 2 days of interviews.